Gentlemen, thank you for coming along. There was almost a moment where this wasn't going to happen. We nearly just evacuated Reflections Tower 2. I put a pizza box in the oven on grill setting, put it as close as you can to the grill, and it caught on fire. So as these guys were in the lobby, we have Brad Dougherty, Matt Bemrose, Bemmy. Welcome, boys.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
You've been asking me to come on for a while, and I've been going, oh, I don't know about this because a bit worried about what I have to say.
Come on.
Plenty stories, bro.
Yes.
You're not worried.
Stoked.
Come on.
No.
I'm stoked, man.
Like I said, lads, it's not live, so anything the listeners won't hear it. You can tell us. We're happy to hear it. But yeah, anything two skits isn't getting out. But really, why we wanted to get you guys on, obviously, initially it was Bemmy, and then Bemmy brought up that Brad might be keen to come on. Now we'll get you guys to go into a little bit of your bios, just so the listeners can find out a bit more about yourselves. So, Brad, you go first, maybe. Tell us about what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So I basically spent most of my career on the brand side.
Yes.
With Volcom, starting kind of in the early 2000s, and basically worked through as a surf team manager as a start, and worked through all different levels of marketing. And yeah, I ended up really doing kind of everything, from athlete management to events, making films, working on all the projects, and yeah, really just like every piece of marketing.
Yeah.
All the fun stuff at first, and then it turned a bit more serious, and we actually had to like sell some product and understand that was while we were doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went through a lot of different different stages of the company. And then, yeah, basically got to meet Bemmy at some point when he was kind of transitioning from a pro career.
Yep.
And we were growing like crazy in that era. It was pretty wild. You could really make anything, and it didn't even matter if it was shit product or what. It sold, and there was just money coming in like crazy. So we were spending it as fast as we could and trying to do as much fun shit as we could. And yeah, so we hired Bemmy on, team manager, and we ended up doing a ton of fun stuff together, traveling the world, doing content, events, and everything that that we worked on was at the time we were kind of living that lifestyle, like with everyone. And it was just, when you look back on it now, it's crazy to think of how good it was.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The golden era.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I did that, and kind of worked through marketing really just for Volcom until 2023.
Sure.
And at that point I was heading up different sports and a bunch of different aspects of marketing. But then there was a big acquisition with ABG, and didn't really know exactly what was happening until all of a sudden they were like, hey, we're going to take on Billabong and Ruka global marketing. And at the time we had Captain Finn as well, and another little brand from Hawaii. So it was like overnight. My role went from, like really focused on one brand to 5.
Sure. Yeah.
Which was kind of nuts. But yeah, so I was basically the head of global sports marketing for all of those brands, all sports. Yeah, for about a year and a half, and there was a lot of other things that were happening behind the scenes, and the business changed pretty quickly, and there were a bunch of unfortunate things that happened, which kind of left a whole, I guess, new path for those brands. And I decided that I wanted to, at that time, I felt like I just needed to take control of my own destiny.
Yeah.
I love the brands. I love all, everything that we built and did, but I honestly felt like I kind of gave it everything, that I could. And I was pretty uncertain about the future of where they were going.
Yeah.
So I decided to start my own company.
Sure. And what is that company called?
It's called Apex Marketing Group.
Yep.
And yeah, it's really what I did was like, I kind of had to, whoa, you okay? I mean, look, like I said, I got to a point of where when you grow in these brands and these businesses, and you get to a level where, you know, you're working with the top executives every day and like really structuring the whole business, and you're overseeing these such large portfolios. You really have a lot of responsibility. A lot of people think, oh, these guys are the marketing guys and they're just out having fun and doing that stuff. But what my role became was a very like just really internal, full of meetings.
Yes, sure.
Meeting after meeting after meeting, which I started realizing what all that was. And they were important stuff that we were working on. But it was like e-commerce meetings, sales meetings, product meetings, legal meetings, finance meetings, like all of those things. And it was a great learning experience. But what I realized was, as I got through that, I was being more removed from the things that I love the most.
Yeah.
Which was like working with the athletes.
Sure.
And helping career development and working on, you know, events, working on content, all that stuff that I used to do. And we had great support people. I had people that, you know, we had Bemmy and Richie and a few guys, you know, running the Volcom side for surf. We had guys running that team management and, you know, for snow and skate, etc. At that time, I had hired Keanu Singh to run the Billabong surf, you know, program, which was amazing. And actually Mike Brophy ran the Ruka program. Yeah. So we all worked together. It was awesome. But those were the guys, they were doing all that. And I was just being more removed from it just out of necessity, because of what the responsibility for my role was. So I think that was probably the biggest trigger for me to do what I'm doing today. Yeah. I wanted to get back to that, and really first and foremost working with the team riders.
Amazing. Do you want to go throw it back, Bemmy?
Yeah. What's up?
I've heard from a reliable source in Lennox Head, Sonny Russell, best backhand of your era. Can you confirm?
Well, my back and my knees definitely paying for it now.
But talk to us about your junior career and your
seats. I mean, like any grom these days, you grow up with the thought of wanting to be a pro surfer and the dream, and you know, finishing school and not wanting to have a real job. So you go, I'm going to try this surfing thing. You know, and it was a fair bit of success, if I don't say.
But
I had some really good times, you know, and you know, obviously winning the QS, travel with some really good partners. Like,
Did you say you won the QS?
I've won a couple.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, had really fun, a lot of success, and you know, came close to qualifying once, and then I had a car crash in France.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, remember the back in the day, they used to be called a trip. Those things you put on top of your iPhones, and you'd tune it into the radio.
Oh,
that?
yeah.
You guys are way too young for that shit.
No,
anyway,
I know what you mean.
So we'll stay in the back at Carwin Williams' house in the back of Hostler, and it was my mum's birthday, and it was like midnight. We're not going to go say happy birthday to her. Driving back after that, I put the trip in, trying to tune it, and then all of a sudden I'm hit the gravel, and I'm going, oh God, I can't stop. And then it went flying off, head first off a ditch, smashed my head. Oh, I got smoked. Yeah, and then I missed like 5 events that year, and then came back, and then I remember Spilsy, I don't know if you're a part of this, but he said, you know, they really wanted me to run the program for Oz and New Zealand surf program. I was like, man, I think I've still got a little bit more to go. Still got a couple more backhand Rios to do, you know? So, and then it just came down to more of a, like, it's come to the end of the year, am I going to do this? Huge opportunity, because if I didn't take it, someone would swoop in there. You know, there's not too many roles like that. So I did take it, and I remember speaking to one of my mates who I was traveling with at the time, Dayan Neve, and he ran me up and goes, don't do it. Don't do it. We're going to have one more big swing at it. I said, no, I'll go, I'm going to take it. But that next year they qualified. Oh. And I was like, you know. But I reckon that kind of gave me motivation to do like a deep dive with the team and really dig into them. You know, I got to bring up guys like Mitch Colborne on the Oz team who won the Oz Pro Junior level and like traveled with a bunch of groms like that. And then obviously he had a lot of success. And then from the US side, I knew Brad and those guys. And then Brad came to me and said, hey, do you want to run the global program and go on tour with those guys? And I think Dusty Payne was a grom at the time, and I got to go on tour with him and Coco Ho, and you know, and then obviously it's transformed into like the Yago, the Jack Robinsons and Joels, and where we're at right now. So that's it in a nutshell.
So the car crash was the catalyst.
The car crash, that got me.
What were some wins prior to that?
On the dance floor? Or
I know you're good at that. You're still
no, we had a
good
good one that year. I think that year was a real good one. We were in Portugal and had a final with, it was me, Taj, Russell Winter, and Darren O'Rafferty. That was a good one. But, had so many fun, success things. We captained Australia when we went to the Ice War Games, and that was a real fun one. We had Jake Patter there as the coach. We won the first gold in a long time for that one.
Right.
Yeah, so...
What was your highest QS finish? Like, standings-wise?
I remember it was back in the day when it was top 44, and I was like, oh, fuck, early 30s, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah, right.
10 spots out, and then
Yeah.
next year was going to be the year.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you wish you kind of went back? Because I'm kind of the same now. I'm like, I have a
Go
little
back?
dabble or...
I saw Chopu after with that QS. I was like, they fucking didn't do that event. Remember the one that Conan Hayes won? Oh, no, Kobe won.
Yeah.
That was the first one. We're going, Chopu, what's that? And then everyone, a lot of guys went there, and then, I'll tell you what it was. It was like 15-foot super western. It was dark and angry.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going, why couldn't you go on that event? Yeah, know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was back in the day when the QS was running all shitty waves and shitty locations.
Yeah.
I guess not too dissimilar now.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
So was it hard to step away and move into a different role?
looking back, regrets? No. I reckon I kind of lucked in at a time like Brad was saying, like those early 2000s where the brands and everything was doing such cool shit with the program. You know what I mean? Really backing their surfers. It was a really cool time. I can't believe I've been doing this for 20 years. Is it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. But, it was a really cool time and it was super fun. And I'd like to say it's not super fun now, but there was way more money back then where, it felt like the brands really got behind big time, the riders. And it's like, the brand and the surfer together would grow the brand together. Now it's like, it's just not as much money. So you'd pick up a sponsor and you'd really rely on them to really promote the program. Whereas before I felt like, I know, correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like it was together. The companies put so many resources into the guys, but.
Well, I think a couple of thoughts, I guess. It also was like, it's all like who's running the companies, right? And like who, like what's important to them? Because like we were talking about, right? It's like, it's going to come from the top down, and it's like, if you got guys that are running it that really look at that and go, this is really important, which is the era that we grew up in. I think it's a big difference, because then it's like that support of people that actually know, like, or value what the riders are doing outside of just having a sponsorship, but it's interesting what I'm thinking back about all this. What's crazy is that all of this really kind of with you, it all kind of started right here, with this event.
Yeah.
And when this event was on tour, we made a decision at Volcom. I mean, look, you guys, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, like no one really gave a shit if like Volcom had a surfer that was going to be on the tour. Like it just wasn't important.
Yeah.
It just didn't really seem to matter. But we kind of got to this point, and at that time I was working closely with Richard Wolcott, the founder, and Troy Eckert, who was heading up marketing, and like we were all kind of looking at like, well, what's the future? Like, is competitive surfing important? And Volcom was this brand that was like, it didn't really seem to matter, until it did. And then it was like, I think we saw like, all the success that Quick and Billabong and Rip Curl and these brands actually had, with supporting competitive surfing. But I think for us, it was like, well, it's not about just getting competitive athletes on the tour. It's like having the right people. Sure. And do they actually, are they people that actually fit the brand? And so clearly that all really started with Bruce.
Yes.
And it was like, we didn't really know, like, do you want to be on tour? Do you not? Like, I mean, he didn't know, I think, for a little while. Right. And like, and then all of a sudden everything was happening with Andy, and then he just the fire just lit, and he was just like, I want to do that. And I want to get on, and groveling through QS and all that stuff to do it. But my point is, like, so he kind of did that, you know, and it was, and that was kind of a first time where we as a group went, well, he has the talent to be a world champ, you know, or whatever, be in that top group. So we even supported more. And it started here, you know, and when this event was first, we took over the Rainbow Place apartments over there, level 13, all 3 floors. And I swear we rented the same places for at least 10 years. Wow. And we cycled through all of these. And when Dean came on, obviously he was, you know, from here, that was so strong. It was such an amazing, like, okay, now we got a couple guys on the tour, and, you know, and it became something that was valuable. So to Bemmy's point, we supported all of it. It was like, yeah, we'll spend 20 grand on an event like this and bring everyone. Yeah. We brought guys from Kauai. We brought all these different people, coaches, support.
The Kauai guys over that one time, Kyborg and everyone, and then there was a big brawl in the middle of the stretch pool and gutter.
No way.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it was like all of them.
That was held. Yeah, that was held.
And they and Borg had to send a couple of them home. No way. Yeah, guys, that's you're out. You know, it was a brawl in the middle of the street here. It started at Jay Quinn's house, remember?
Yeah.
Had that movie.
Oh, yeah, we played the movie.
All of a sudden, his car got trampled on. It looked like it was like turned into a pile of shit, remember? So, and then they went to the Cooley pub and it just went sideways from there.
I feel like Volcom, for us growing up, was like the kind of fuck you to authority kind of company. Like, we don't care, we're authentic, we're doing what we want to do. If we just nearly evacuated Reflections by a pizza box being on fire, surely you guys have had to rack up some bills where you just go, are you fucking kidding me? How did that happen?
Bro.
Yeah.
Too many, bro.
Yeah, too many of those.
Is there anyone stand out?
But we
stand out, I think, every time. I don't know. I've got so many. I remember one at North Australia. We did one with all the pro skaters. You think the surfers?
The skaters
times about 50 million. But Volcom got banned from North Stradbroke Island, never allowed back. Well, these skaters were on there. We go, you guys shouldn't even be on here. We went into their cabin, and the room was a foot deep of glass. There was knives in the wall. TV's upside down. You went into the spa and it was bourbon there, and they're just going. And I was just going, and there was the ranger came in. I was like, looked at him and went. I don't know. And they just go, you guys are off. Never allowed back. Never allowed back. Wow. But the skaters, they're you know, we're all right. But then the skaters came, when they came to the Volcom house, one got booted, never allowed back.
Okay.
One of the boys got, do you remember that one?
Yeah.
And Chemo whipped his shirt off and goes, you're dead, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And it's so lucky that this skater is one of the best skaters in the world. I was sitting there with Komana, the backdoor house, and seeing Chemo just go, rah. When you hear Chemo go off, you fucking know about it.
Well, I'm
and
shivering
Chemo
now.
told me before he goes, that fucking little shit, when you find him, tell him. I'm going, where is he? He's dead, get out of here. He's seen him.
Yeah.
And then he went out the back of the house, and lucky he turned right and went down to the beachfront, because about 8 of them just marched, and then went to the road, thought he was on the road. Oh, you remember that one?
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Well, that was the funniest thing, right? Because to your point, like, we always thought, like, that was just natural. Like, let's throw all the fucking skaters and the snowboarders in with the surfers and just do these trips and just see what happens, you know? And there was always just fucking chaos. Like, there was always something. But yeah, there were some big bills. We had a couple issues here. They loved us at the Rainbow Place, but I felt like I was always the one, because I would come every year. Yeah. And I was always the one apologizing to the management. Oh, real sorry. And remember when we had Ozzy and Cowboy and all those guys? Bro. And they fucking pulled out the drawers in the kitchen and started pissing on all the silverware.
You were in there. I think I got footage. You then pulled it out. It's full of piss.
He just piss starts.
What is this? And Cowboy walks out. He's the drummer from the Goons.
All the Goons are doing was staying like in our room.
And he goes, mate, what's this? And he can't remember. I guess he walked.
He goes, oh, I didn't. Here we go.
Here we go.
And he's going like this in the morning with like one paper towel. Oh God. And I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like, get that shit out of here. Like all of our cookware and everything. He's pissed on all of it.
Who are the repeat offenders? Is there anyone where you just get a phone call Monday morning and you just go, this is fucking not going to be good?
I don't know.
Oh, you guys have got something.
They're looking at each other, so
there's a little twinkle there.
So many over the years. There's a couple of guys on the program right now that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
all loose cannons.
I don't know if I could say there was like an actual like one repeat offender necessarily. It was kind of like everyone at one point just had their moment, you know?
Yeah. And that's what was part of growing up. It's like, and it's, you think the Volcom program kind of, it paves the way for your looseness to come out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, for
And
sure.
it's like, and then after all that traveling around the world, then you got to go to the two houses.
Yes.
And then none of that looseness is allowed to come out
Right.
because you'll pay the price for it. It is all about respect. And you got the biggest boys over there who will chew you out and they'll give it to you. You know, if you want to go over there, you go in a little boy, you come out a man.
Yeah,
Because
right.
you know, mummy and daddy there to say, hey, you're going to be all right. It's like, no. Now you're under our rules, bro. You know what I mean?
I went into that little dungeon next to the cookie house.
Oh, yeah, you did?
Fucking terrified. And I remember meeting Kaimana for the first time. He's going, I'm never going to fuck up in Hawaii.
Yeah.
He's just,
He has that effect, right?
That's that heartbeat, you know. He'll look at you and just study you, and like takes a while for him to go, okay, you're one of us, but it's all under a respect banner. And like, he's such a good mentor to these kids coming from overseas, coming to Hawaii, because when you see him, you don't want to fuck up. But also when you are doing some good things, he'll come home and go, good job, Grom.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Yeah.
But then still is not going to praise you that much. You still got to keep at it every day until you fuck up. Then you're going to know about it.
yeah.
He's going to give it to you. So I love watching him give it. I'll go, righto, Mana, check this guy out. Oh, how's this fucker?
Put back into place real quick.
Yeah. Do you remember the house the FBI were watching it? Remember?
What?
Didn't you? Wasn't there
I didn't tell you that.
Wasn't there a rumor?
There's no fact checking here, so it's
No. About some bones were found there or something?
Oh, that's true. That was there were bones that were found. Yeah.
At the Volcom house?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty normal. We didn't know at the time, but it was just hundreds of years before.
True.
It was a burial ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Though, like, I don't know, 200 year, whatever it was. There was actually, and we had no idea.
We thought it was a team rider. We're going on.
It's one of the Groms who came from France 3 months ago.
God, that's Charlie Gravant.
Yeah.
No, he's still kicking. He's alive. He's still doing the chain too.
Yeah, chain out, ripping.
Yeah.
Pipe this year, you got quarters.
Yeah, I know. He's still going healthy.
Cheers, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
But no, it was it ended up being a really strange situation. It was like there was thank you. There was we didn't know this, but that whole stretch on the North Shore, there's a lot of area there that before there were any houses or any people, obviously it was like a burial grounds. We didn't know. So like we were doing some construction or something. I don't remember what we were doing. Building something illegally, probably. Trying to get permits, man. But that's fuck. You kind of just
Especially there, right? I'm assuming even harder in the
Holy
absolute
shit.
beachfront in Hawaii.
you just don't do it.
No.
Like you think that dungeon is permitted, or if you get part of the other rooms. But yeah, and then what happens? They found these bones like digging in the area, and you kind of have to stop everything, and then you go through a whole thing where you come out and they put them back. You got to hire someone like that actually specializes in that, and they put them back, kind of set them where they're supposed to be, and it's like kind of a little blessing.
Yeah, right.
And do that and kind of put it back to rest,
Yeah.
and then you can move on. But yeah, that fucking story started getting out, I think, and at first people thought, they buried someone like under the Volcom house. Oh, crazy. But I guess it wouldn't have been, it would have been crazy, but that part of that era of that Volcom house, I mean, it was 7 days a week. It was a party.
Yeah.
It was out of control.
It was when I first went there and I was competing in Hawaii. First time I rocked up with a board bag, I seen Rid walked out and he looked like a shell of himself, Dave Riddle. And I walked up and it was someone's party and I seen Bruce and I go, hey, there was someone to stay on this couch. And it was just raging. I went, nah, not staying there. So ended up staying in the LMB house at Sunset, which the guy running it wasn't too happy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it was sorry to cut you off. What was Bruce like to work with? Was it challenging? Difficult?
Yeah.
I mean, I was surfing for the brand at the time, so I was competing against him as a legend. But I know old mate over here had a lot of stressful.
Yeah.
Are you bald?
It was bit of thought. I still have all my hair.
Is he not too?
Still okay. Yeah, it's all right.
Any good stories?
Oh, too many. I mean, could have a whole podcast on that. Yeah, it was interesting because Bruce was with Volcom before I was.
Sure.
And so he came on. He was young. I mean, he was 15 or 16, something like that. And he got put on the program from Richard and Troy, and like they were like the guy, like they were his, you know, they did the deal, the first deal with his dad, and that was his crew, and that they had already started building it. In fact, like, you know, they did Magnaplasm in 1998 before I even started with the company. So he already had like, it was, you know what I mean? He was already the guy.
Do you guys remember Magnaplasm, all the movies?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was 98. And I started in 99. So when I came on, I was like the lowest level team manager. And I was, you know, just coming off of whatever, surfing and trying to figure out a job and what, you know, just like what. So I had, you know, really very little experience. I had very little experience in Hawaii at that point. So he was just like, "Who the fuck are you?" You know.
I thought that was going to be the intro for this update. I just feel like he would have big dogged.
Yeah, and like it was funny because, well, not funny at the time. It was stressful because I'm just like, my bosses are like, "Well, we're busy doing this other. You got to deal. You know, you need to do this. You need to handle this and deal with Bruce's travel and do this and go here and there and manage all this stuff. You know." And so it took a long time. Took a long time for us to build a relationship. Yeah. And then I dealt with his dad, who was managing him, you know, at the time. And it's kind of what you said, you know, like at that time there was this like, almost this thing that like the Volcom crew was crazy, out of control, did whatever they wanted. There were not really any consequences. It never seemed like it. So like it kind of what you said, I mean, it lended like to all the team riders. It was like, well, the team managers and the marketing, all those guys are partying and crazy and doing shit. Like, this is just what you do. Yeah. But then we'd turn around and get mad at them if they fucked up, you know? And like, what are you doing, you know? And so like it lended itself to that kind of behavior. And I think it was hard to then be like, hey, what are you doing if they went too far? Sure. You know? And so that there was a lot of that kind of happening. So I got into it with his dad all the time. Right. Like Bruce would go do something and I don't know, end up in some weird bad situation, and dad would call me like, "You fucked this up. Like, this is your fault. Like you guys did, you know." So it was a lot of that. But look, fast forward, man, that was just an incredible growth. That from 2000 to 2007. Sure. That was an incredible growth year or growth era, I guess. And really, if you look at it, like the whole industry. But Volcom in particular, I think that was just this point where it just took off. And we could do nothing wrong, you know, and it was like all the stars aligned. And it was like, and Bruce was on fire and doing all his thing, you know. And so it took time for sure, but we developed a really good relationship, you know, and it ended up being, I think, like it took a long time, like as it does in general, but I spent a lot of time in Hawaii. Yeah. And I went over a lot, and I traveled with those guys a little bit, and I think proved that I understood what they're doing, you know.
It's almost like the step parent moving in and trying to win over the affection of the child, you know, and just easing it in.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know, we I think it was always, you know, look, working with high profile team riders is always going to have its challenges. Yeah. It's always going to be never going to be easy, you know. And they're all a little bit different. But it toughened me up a lot, you know, and I learned how to like navigate and deal with all that stuff. And once they saw, and I don't know, when I look back on my whole career, I feel like, man, I was really passionate about like our Hawaii program. Like it was so important to me. And I felt like I really tried to put a lot back into the community, and whether it was team riders or events or, you know, things that had to, you know, I cared a lot about it. And so I think that really helped, you know.
Absolutely. And we sort of touched on the Volcom House, which is a well-known couple of buildings, right? You got two over in Hawaii.
You purchased the
second, didn't you? Yeah, you involved in the acquisition of those.
The second one, yeah.
The second one?
Yeah.
How does that all go down? Is it like...
The Jerry House, that's the famous one.
Oh, really?
The Jerry House.
No way.
They actually built with their bare hands, right? And life.
I built it with my bare hands. I went over to the
But how's the crew though? That actually, what was it? Jerry? It was
they did.
Fletchers?
Yeah, Jerry and Herbie Fletcher owned it, and
Yep.
I mean they built the house.
And
back
Rory
in the-
Russell
in
was
the-
still there.
in the 80s. And as you guys, if you look back on any of those old like Wave Warriors films and all that stuff, like that became, I mean, it was the hub. Like that was the, it was the most, iconic surf house in the world.
Yeah.
And, what happened was it changed hands in the late 90s. Maybe it was 96, 97, something like that. There were a few owners, but with that group, Jerry, Herbie, crew, and the rest of the ownership, they decided to sell. What a lot of people didn't know was that not only did they want to sell, but where Jamie's house is, that also, it was basically that lot was split in half, and so it's kind of a half lot, and so there were two houses, but they were subdivided, and then the small house, the original Volcom house, all three of those were owned by one guy. And
No
so
way.
he came in, this guy, no one knew who he was. He was just like, not a surfer, financial advisor, one of the biggest financial advisors in Hawaii, lived in town, made a lot of money, and just started buying up properties. And for whatever reason, he was very interested in this little circle without really knowing how, like what it was, right? Yeah, like there was so
Had the accident.
yeah, it was so crazy. So, and I don't know if you guys know, but the little house used to be, it was Benji Weatherby's house. And like, that was really like a surf hangout at that time for a lot of because it wasn't a brand house, right? It was like, so a lot of surfers are going through there. And then, we were renting houses, for years over there, and it changed every year. And a lot of times it changed because we weren't invited back.
Sure.
Yeah. After destroying the places. Multiple from VLAN to Sunset to Ted's Bakery House that got
that one, but they got
fucking
that
destroyed.
punch on there.
Bunch of
Seems to be a
fights.
common occurrence of punch-ons.
Bunch of punch-ons, fights. Yeah, guys breaking through the walls. And so, we kind of had to bounce around to keep renting different houses all the time. And finally, my previous boss, who was the head of marketing and one of the very first surfer for Volcom, Troy Eckert, he had the idea to try to buy to rent the house. Sorry,
Sure.
that house, and so we did that, and that's when it was really started as a party house.
Yeah.
The small house, and
One with the dungeon, that one.
yeah, it was done. So we rented it, and then the opportunity came to buy it from this guy named Mike Strada that no one really knew. So we were like, holy shit, like we're buying this house, so yeah, it was just one of those things. It was like, it was time because the team evolved.
Yeah.
And we realized that over the years, it was like all these places are important, but it was like we had to get to pipeline. Like we had to get to pipe. Like we had to plant the fucking flag there. And there's no other way to do that. You cannot, I don't care if like you have guys staying in places, coming down the trail. It's just, it doesn't matter. Like it's just, there's nothing that compares to having that flag right there.
Yeah.
So he ended up doing that deal and we bought the house and it was amazing. So a couple years go by, or a year goes by, and the house is tiny, dude. It's 2 bedrooms, so 2-1 up front, and the dungeon, which we just
bunk bed.
slammed a bunch of 8 bunk beds in there.
Don't put a
And-
blue light in there, mate.
Oh, right. Yeah. CSIROs. Oh, what is that?
Oh, I don't think I can unsmell that room.
Bro.
Just
Yeah.
BO and weed.
Yeah, that's it. And no ventilation. Yeah. So we but yeah, so we're all talking about it and like, well, what are we gonna do? Because everything was growing. Like I said, we're adding team riders. Then we have all of our partners around the world going, we want to send our guys to the Volcom house too. And I'm just like, the fuck, like we have no room for these people. Like, what are we gonna do? So we kind of talked through it and we ended up we had plans. We're like, let's expand the house. But I was really conscious of like the footprint of it because I didn't want that, like, it's very iconic looking, and it's small. Like, I didn't want to rip the thing down and build some big thing. So I went to work with, because I oversaw kind of all that at that time. So I went to work with an architect, and we basically started building a whole plan where we would leave the front to look like it is, and then go back because the lot is super
huge, yeah.
it's really deep. You get it basically from the foliage line all the way to Kainui. So you had that whole thing. So we were going to go back up, you know, garage, whatever. And like, that was the plan, and spent a bunch of money on architectural plans, drawings, all this shit. And it came time to go do it. And the one thing, this guy was really smart, Mike, that owned the houses. When he sold us that little house, he said he owned the Jerry Lopez house next door, which is 3 stories. And he said, you guys can buy this, but you can't block my view. Meaning like you can't build up right here. And so then it became my job to fly over there, literally with sets of plans, and go talk to him about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I went over there and spent a week or 2 over there and started, hey, here's what we want to do, whatever. And he goes, well, you can't do it. We have this agreement. So I started trying to negotiate a payout, like a deal, like, okay, well, fuck, dude. I'm like, what's it going to cost? You know, like, you're still going to have a view from the 3rd floor.
Yeah. He's what? He's going to look back at the highway.
Yeah. Like it wasn't, you know,
Everyone's looking at a pot, no one's going, I can't wait to see what's at the highway.
it was, you know, it was like, well, you're going to do this and this tree, you know, it was just so stupid. But, anyway, so look, I mean, the funniest thing about this area, obviously all the guys a lot of very powerful people at Pipe, right? It's like, you got all the surfers, you got all these guys, and they're just running it all. And I just saw something a little bit different because I felt like what I saw was that this guy from a different standpoint was probably the most powerful guy there was, you know, like here in this area, and no one knew it, you know? And I think people didn't talk to him. They just kind of brushed him off, and he'd come around, they'd be like, who's this kook, you know?
Yes.
And I'm just going, this kook.
Well, you jump right.
Not as that easy,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was meeting with him and trying to figure this out, and then
He had all the latest Volcom gear, didn't he?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And look, you guys, I mean, because he owned it, and no offense to him at all, but like, he took that house out of, there was a period of lost surf history. Yeah. Because it was just like his vacation home.
Sure.
And you got all that, you know, history of everyone in the yard.
Yeah.
And it was gone for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I ended up kind of talking to him, and we know Rip Curl tried to buy it. Other brands tried to buy that house multiple times. And he's like, it's not for sale, not for sale. But I developed like a good relationship with him, you know? And I just really was like, okay, at some point, like, we got to work on this other house. And then I ended up going over there one day. The guy's by himself.
Right.
Like, it's like a literally 3-story Jerry Lopez house. He's just hanging out by himself. And like, we got all these people next door and everyone's surfing or whatever. He's like, yeah, okay, come on over. We'll talk about it. And one night we just started going into it, had some wine or whatever. And then I'm just thinking, fuck, this isn't going to work. Like, we're going to have to pay this guy like $500,000 and we're still not going to be able to build what we want.
Yeah.
And I go, look, I know people have tried to buy this house before, but like, where are you at? Like, you know, I'm like, why don't we just scrap that whole thing and we'll buy this house? You guys can't afford this house. And I was like, oh yeah, we can. I had no idea. No clue. It wasn't my money. But we started talking, and I just caught him at the right time and had the right relationship. It was all tight. And he had just had a new real estate project, and he could have used the cash. This guy bought these things for nothing.
Yeah.
And he was about to make, you know, so much money.
Yeah.
And so we worked through it, and there was a lot of things. He's like, well, you can't do this. I don't want you to change the bathrooms. I need to be, you know, I want to be welcome in the house. I mean, we went through a lot of stuff, a lot of considerations, you know, accommodations, like, you know, and I want to show him change the footprint and see all this work I did on the tire. Like, you know, it's just it's just funny stuff. But anyways, fast forward, it became a reality. Volcom had gone public in 2005. It raised a lot of public capital. And so part of that was to invest in the company and put back into things like marketing and brand building. And so we had some money sitting there. It was just 2007. And I went to my bosses and kind of went through the whole plan. And I'm like, this is what it would cost to build this one. And we're not going to get what we want anyways. This is, you know, and that was it. And we bought the house. And I'll never forget the probably the coolest part about it was the Monster Pipe Pro at that point. Remember?
Yes.
So it was Monster sponsored it.
Yeah.
And you know, we own the house, but there was a previous deal that they did to let Monster use it for the contest. So we allowed that, but no one knew. We didn't tell anybody. Yeah. And so then we all came over for the event. We were all sitting downstairs, and Riddle and Ty and Clint and Kyborg and Mana and like all these team riders, and we're like, hey, like this is ours, and they're just like, what? Like, you know, what do you mean? Like, no, this is our house. Oh yeah, well, yeah, we're good to hang here. No, we own this house. Like, this is the new Volcom house.
So does someone reside in it year round when the like the world tour's not there essentially, and all the pros aren't there in winter?
Well, not Kaimana did at the other house, but no, outside of that, mostly we rented the houses on the off season.
Yeah.
Because it cost a lot of money to maintain, obviously.
Yeah.
So there was a good, at that time, you could, you know, short-term rentals, and they were full. And we did a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah.
We had companies, and now, you know, we'd company employee trips and things like that. You couldn't do a whole lot, obviously, outside of the winter season. But as soon as it came on, like we blocked it from October 1st to end of March every year. Yeah. And then it was just full on.
And then the hierarchy of the houses too. So when we used to go out there, we used to
yes.
only allowed to stay in the backdoor house. We call it the backdoor house, the original house.
Yeah.
And then that house was like, that's your peer note fence. Oh, and Bruce had the whole top level to himself.
Yeah.
Remember, they pulled the thing there, the whole room to himself. And now there's like 4 beds up there. There's a bed on this side, 2 bed, and then there's 3 bed on that side. Bruce had the whole thing to himself.
No way.
And then it was like down below that was, you know, who was staying there the whole time. It was like, who was managing the house? And Dave Wassel.
Yeah,
was in there. Dave Wassel.
Yeah,
Wassel. And then
that's right.
Dusty had one, but it was funny because you had to earn your stripes to be able to go over there, even as a team rider. No Groms were allowed over there, no one.
You couldn't go on that.
No, weren't even allowed to go on that side.
Yeah.
I remember Ball got me over and goes, all right, Bruce is gone. You're allowed upstairs. He let me stay upstairs. And I threw it the first time. I was like, get fucking But, you know, and it was really cool. But to be able to, like, that's how policed, I'd say it was over there. Like, you weren't even allowed over there.
No
You
way.
had to earn your way into that house.
And it started with the dungeon.
Yeah.
It was like just to be allowed as a team rider to come stay at the house, that was one thing. And if you passed that test, then you were in the dungeon. If you passed that, maybe you came into the upstairs little house. And it was like this progression, and we let those guys run it, you know?
Yeah.
That wasn't like that. It was really efficient, and I think people knew what they needed to do, and I think it wasn't just about surfing. It wasn't just about your surf talent.
Yeah.
I mean, it was part of it, right? But it was like, how did you take care of the house?
Yeah, correct.
There was a lot of shitheads that came through that just weren't respectful.
No. And if you get chewed out, though, if you're not like...
It didn't last long.
The Groms and that, you won't last. You're not allowed back.
Yeah.
If you're not a Grom and you're from somewhere and you don't have a broom in your hand, or you walk past a dirty plate and you walk past it, one of the guys catch you, they're gonna give it to you.
Wow. Yeah, Reef McIntosh was good at that as
That
well.
too, you know what I mean?
A pot of coffee every morning must be done before he gets out. I remember, like, because it was like wooden floors.
Yeah.
You'd hear dung, dung, because he's a big lad.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I haven't got the coffee on. Fuck.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's coming, mate, it's coming.
Quick. A broom out just doing those ones.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you need that. Otherwise, you just get people taking the piss.
Yeah.
But what was your best memory there? Surely.
Oh, bro. I don't know if I could tell you my best memory. I've done 25 years there. But the thing is with that place, like, now I've known them so long, some of those guys I classify as my best mates, but there were moments when we were living in the dungeon that, you know, Kyborg was gnarly back in the day, and he still is, but he would rock around and, like, out of nowhere, he'd go, right, training. Everyone have to get up, and you'd have to go train for an hour. He'd just flog you. And then one time, Tom Carey was staying downstairs, and he fucking walked again. This is another piss story, and pissed on fucking Andrew Christie or something in the dungeon, bro. And that's right after Ball fucking walked in. It was fucking a big night, and he just goes, "What is this?" And they're just hung over. I was just going, "Oh, this fucking wins." They are just everyone's destroyed, hung over, and you got to go over to the park, and you just got an hour of him just fucking with you, flogging you.
Wow.
Flogging you. But yeah, there's so many. I mean, there's too many, bro. Like it's about. It's almost like. You know, you go over there and you do come out a different person, but you know, the parties and everything else aside, like you come out understanding a real meaning what being respected and respecting others is.
Yeah.
because it's like, you know what I mean? Like you stay home with your parents as a kid and, you know, you can kind of get away with stuff. Over there, you're not getting away with shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you go there. If you are a little shit, you can go there. You come out a different person, like understanding respect. I mean, for the utmost, right? And then, but then if you are like a turd, a shit, or whatever you like saying that word, you know, you don't learn from it. You're not allowed back.
Yeah.
They're going, no, he's not allowed back.
Yeah, right.
You know, and they'd ask Riddle, and Riddle's like, yeah, won't pick up your call, you're not getting that.
No way.
So it's like you can't get away with it. But I'm saying, I'd say 99% of everyone understands what those houses are, and as a grommet, I reckon in society you grow up with the older locals, and they're gonna tell you what's up. You know what I mean? It's like you do understand that level of respect just by being a grommet on your local beach.
For sure.
And then understanding the stories of going to the Volcom houses and seeing all those big guys. You're sitting there when you're first walking going, like that. It seriously is that way. See, there's no one with that much of an ego to go in there. The only one I'd say was the skaters that went there not even understanding what that place was. And when that guy did that, the chemo, they found out real quick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Real quick. But then,
Yeah.
but anyway, the stories, there's so many, but I don't know how many we can say.
Yeah. I don't.
That's all right.
You know?
Are they still happening, these stories? Let's fast forward now. Like, has much really changed and we're just not seeing it or hearing it, or is it kind of tapering off? And
No, they're happening. That's happening down there. You go down the dungeon. The best thing about the dungeon is the boys like Noah and Ballaram and those guys. They love chilling down in the dungeon because you got the Japanese down there, you got the Spanish down there, you got everyone, and it's all a hell of a good time.
Yeah.
But you're still walking around like those guys still don't want to fuck up because you got Kaimana looking over on his shoulder. Go, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still the funnest place. But when the parties go, they go.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, last time, remember the red wine party?
Yeah. Red wine party.
I don't want to bring that.
We'll leave that one. We'll leave that because, like I said, we'll fast forward, like I said, to present day as well. We're up.
Yeah.
Obviously, we referred to this earlier. We did a podcast earlier, the Quicksilver Pro. It's not been the Quicksilver Pro for many years, but it still gets referred to that. So well done to Quicksilver there. But yeah, the Bonsoy Gold Coast Pro, I believe it is now, just wrapped up.
Yeah.
One of the better surf events I've watched in a while. Anyway, waves were amazing. The surfing was incredible. Can you guys comment on that as well? Is it up there with you guys for recent times?
For me, like after, you know, went down to Bells, it was one of those ones that we kind of lackluster, went to Winky a lot, Bells on and off, and we went to the last day. I was like, okay, WA's got to be good. We get to WA and it was a shit show. It was like one of those ones like, no, we're going, there's got to be a good one.
Yeah.
We rolled up here, and the best thing ever when you rock to an event, you start day one, you end, you go 4 days straight. And it's just the level of surfing. And I reckon every surfer was so excited to come to the Goldie and just take that backpacker worry off and just go and fucking perform.
Yeah.
You know, and the best thing about this one was usually dominated by natural footers. And I swear the way the bank was, it'd be sucky up the point where it's like not too many guys going to sit behind the rock and just get drained.
Yeah.
It was a little bit wider, so the goofer footers came into play. It was like steep, and it was like they had opportunity to go upside down. There wasn't as many barrels, so it really played into both goofies and naturals going toe to toe.
Yeah.
That's why he loved probably the best backhand on tour, coming up against the most stylish, you know, Ethan Ewing. And it was a fitting final for the conditions overall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, it was so fun and good to be a part of. And like, it's pretty rare. I was speaking to Brad the other day, like to go to an event on day one and finish on day 4, and with every heat being that exciting, and for the WSL to do 35-minute heats, no crossover heats, everyone had a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Brad the other day, I go, do you remember last time that happened? And every time we ran the Volcom Pipe Pro, Brad was like running the whole thing. There was 2 events that we'd start and end on the 3rd or 4th day.
Yeah.
Because over at Pipe on January, we started on January
28th,
28th.
27th.
And right in that pinnacle, like we'd start the event and end on the first 4 days because it's just firing.
Yeah.
Absolutely firing. But yeah, the level of performance this event, it just goes to show that where the level of surfing is now, it is like at standards that are well above and beyond.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like with Gabrielle inclusion, like, and you see the rock staring of like, it feels like surfing is back in that space. You know what I mean? Where it's like everyone's like, oh, I cannot wait for the next one.
Yeah.
I reckon that
they
Australian
can-
Tour needed that, huh?
do you think they can replicate Snapper elsewhere? Like, what was the magic syrup for this one? Because it felt like felt like there was 100,000 people down there.
Yeah.
Like,
I reckon it because like look, it's the best man-made wave on planet Earth. Like
Yeah.
the sand pumping guy was actually texting me. I'm good mates with him. He goes, "I need more sand." Like he texts me. I got a text from me. His name's Kim. Shout out Kim. He said, "Do we need more sand?" And I was like, "Jack had a heap when we got drained." He goes, "Yeah, get more cement for the next day." And he goes, "Yeah, we're going to pump all night long." They've been pumping, but it obviously didn't give enough sand for behind the rock.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool that a guy can be sitting home and go, "Yeah, let's pump out more sand,"
Yeah.
and turn this place. It's man-made. You guys remember Green Mountain Snapper?
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't. You guys aren't 40 years of age.
nah.
You know, if like 25 years ago, there wasn't even. It was pretty shitty out there. Everything was Akira.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's the best man-made wave on planet Earth. You know, it really is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was incredible. And like I say, the forecast came through, which was, I guess, a major factor in the success of this event. Getting a little bit of Jack's here so far as well. Not an amazing event here for him, result-wise anyway. It's been a slow one. Obviously, your marquee team rider,
Yep.
the main guy at Volcom, he's come off a long spell with injury, straight onto some new boards. What's his headspace like at the moment? He's sort of had 3 pretty poor results by his standards.
yeah, I did. Look, that Jack understands that, you know, this is a long race. This isn't just a sprint.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not adverse to adversity.
Yes.
You know, he had a career obviously growing up where nothing was handed to him. The QS took him a while,
Yeah.
and then when it clicked,
Yeah.
it's a real momentum surfer. It clicked, and then he went on a rampage.
Yeah.
You know, these 3 things, and I think Jack's the type of surfer that a lot of them are like. You put their back in a corner. Look, Griffin last year, he was having a shock for the first 5 events, right?
Yeah.
Came home to come second in the year. Yago Dora, dead last in the first event, world champion. Like they all understand that you could get knocked down, but it's not about that. It's how you come up.
Yes.
So this is like a thing like, bring it on, bro.
Yeah.
Have that mentality of like going, what's happening with the judge? Fuck that. It's like, it's fucking how I rise, boys. Watch this rise. You know?
Absolutely.
So that's the mentality. That's the words we're trying to push.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, I think he kind of is loving it.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go. And like every other surfer had 7 months off and they were surfing and connecting. He was in surgery and he got told that he probably wouldn't even make the Oz League. Like he worked his fucking ass off and came back and goes, look at this, you know? So I think every event is going to get better and stronger. And you saw that just before in the last round when he got those 2 8s or the 2 7.8s. You saw that bit of magic. And then unfortunately the next heat was pretty shitty. It was a slow heat.
Yep.
And then, you know, needed the 8, got the 7.5 or whatever. But this is going to be a really big rise.
Yeah.
And you put that in your betting market.
Mate,
I'll come out here first.
I'm waiting on it.
First, there it is. Hey?
I'm keen to clip that up end of year. If he's standing there with a world title trophy, we'll clip that a little bit up, put you first, then have him standing there.
100%.
Keen as.
And Brad, you obviously working with Yago at the moment.
Yep.
What about him? Like coming off obviously the victory of, you know, that everyone's trying to achieve, and then into, you know, event results that aren't, you know, amazing, not bad, but not amazing for his standard.
Yeah.
Where's he at right now?
Yeah, I think he's in a really good spot. I saw him today, and we just kind of, you know, talked through kind of like, okay, where are you at now that you come down? Because as you guys said, it's just been nonstop 4 days of just craziness. And like, even for someone like him who lost early in the event, there's still a lot going on with the, you know, and so you kind of have to let things settle for a little bit. And it's like, okay, well now that's done. We know who won. Okay, we know where the ratings are and all that. And I think today was probably like a good kind of reflection day. And I think he's really in a good spot.
Yeah.
And he is not looking at obviously this wasn't the result that he wanted, but if you think about it, like he's coming out of this leg with a second and a fifth.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I'm sure when we've talked about this so much, and like after you win that title, I think a lot of, not only is there, I guess there's pressure, there's expectations, there's all that stuff, but I think we've seen a lot of the surfers almost just like struggle for the motivation, and sometimes they're coming back as a little lackluster.
Yes.
And I think, you know, they probably gave it, you know, and everyone's different, but we've seen guys give like a Felipe or, you know, some of these guys that just gave it everything for so long. And once they got it, you know, it was like, it was like, okay, just trying to process that is very different, I think, than the way Yago did it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that it by any means didn't come easy. It's very difficult, but it was like he just got in this flow last year, and things were just happening.
Absolutely.
It was just going. Then all of a sudden, it was like, okay, I won.
Yeah.
But it didn't take a mental like toll on him.
Yeah.
Like where it was, I think some of these guys and gals, I understand, like they're just trying, so like they may struggle to find that motivation. Where with him, dude, it's just getting started. You know, like he's literally, and he wants more. He wants to win. He wants more titles. He has the confidence, and knows that he can do that. So yeah, we had a good chat today, and I don't think obviously it's a little disappointing, but you can't win them all.
No.
You're gonna win. You're gonna lose more than you win, and
especially with this new format. This new format is going to bode to even the top guys getting knocked early. So we had the 3-man last year. We didn't lose. You'd be able to find a little bit of momentum and then kick on. But this one is like your final starting round 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to have these guys, the high seeds, coming against low seeds. The list seeds are going, oh, I've got nothing to lose, and they will do it. You saw Griffin.
Yeah.
Fucking boom. You're going to see that a lot this year. Things are going to fluctuate.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like such a different year in terms of like how you're going to see guys where usually always the cream rise to the top. You're going to have a couple guys that just were a little bit off in one heat, and that one heat's got you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. It's like, I think what we're seeing in this event, last couple, like there's just no room for error anymore.
No.
One priority mistake.
One little thing, dude, you're done.
Yeah.
Like it's just the level's just that high.
Yeah,
like,
correct.
And I think that's I think that's something that like we're gonna continue to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, like these guys just have such this level of confidence and knowing like what they can do. Like they'll shake it off. Yeah, would Yago like to be number 1, 2, 3 coming out of this? Sure, but it really is not affecting him.
Yeah.
And he's really excited to get to Raglan. I mean, that's going to be.
And this, I was about to the boys' day forecast is unreal.
Okay.
First 3 days of waves.
Okay. Yeah. Might have another back-to-back event again, then just straight
imagine
knock
that.
it done.
Or was this just the world's biggest fluke and we're going to go 3 days and then wait to the very last day?
Yeah.
Raglan's a place you don't mind spending a long time there.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Beautiful. You guys coming over?
We're not.
Oh, well,
no.
podcast is going to let
Well, no.
We get paid heaps to do this.
So
I
much.
heard that.
Yeah, we're
So
actually
at the top
on.
level. Is it? What's
Yeah.
Big W lights, $70. People walk in and go, "How goes this?" We're like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." I do want to know, and I don't mean to kick below the belt if it's not, but what was the conversations like when Yago went from Volcom to Vissla between you two?
Between us, yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm all about, I'll just say this, I'm all about the surfers. I really want to see the best for them because I love these guys and girls. They're freaking amazing. They're a part of your life. What's when you become a team manager or managing the brand, like you create a part of their life. That's what you become. And these people, and it's sad to go, but for me, I really want to see their success. And so Brad was funny because Brad was my boss, and now he's now working with the surfers, but we still have that amazing relationship, work really closely together. And then I guess Vissla, you can talk from your end.
yeah. I mean, it's just when I look back at this sequence of events that happened in such a short time frame.
Yeah.
But as I told you guys, like I made a very definitive choice that I didn't want to I didn't want to continue on that brand side because I really felt like I needed to change gears and be able to provide with all of my experience, provide a platform to really help out the surfers and the athletes. And I just couldn't do that anymore in those roles. Yeah. I felt like I kind of already did. Right. So, and being part of this job with my company, the way that I set it up. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks.
I'll take one too, please.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
The way I kind of set it up was like, look, you guys, I mean, I dealt with a lot of managers, agents, or whatever you want to call it on the other side. And I learned a lot about that, and I think that something that I felt like I could offer was to not only look, part of this job is doing deals, you know, all the juicy stuff, right? Like, oh, it's getting new sponsors, negotiating contracts, getting you know, all that, that's part of it. Like, that's just what it is. But there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to like the conversation that him and I always are having. Putting myself in this role was because I do care about the way that the athlete works with the brand. Yeah. And I understand it from the other side, all of it. Like from, you know, the everything that when things are going well, when things are not going well, whatever that is. And I think that's a big piece of like why I wanted to bring something a little bit different and be able to do this in a way where I could kind of like, obviously I represent the team rider and I work for them.
Yeah.
But I know how to make it successful and the marketing piece of it. And that's the exciting fun part, you know. Obviously the part of the job is doing these deals. So yeah, there's obviously, as you guys know, there's just been a lot of changes. Volcom with all these brands, there's ownership, the license model, there's a lot of different things that have happened. And Yago was kind of caught in a year of transition.
Yes.
And I don't think that anyone, you know, that people that were dealing with like the change of the business and all these crazy things that were happening from bankruptcies and, you know, employee different changes and all these, you know, when all that was going on, they had to just kind of figure out what was next. And I understand, like at that time, it was really difficult for them to focus on athletes.
Yes.
And try to figure out, well, where is that going, you know? And so obviously Bemmy was crucial in like making sure that, hey, as you guys are up here dealing with all this stuff on the corporate level, like don't forget about this, you know, like this is important. And what does this look like? So we started those conversations. Dan Cortez has been Yago's manager from Brazil for a super long time, since he was a kid. He's kind of like a big brother. And so I've known Dan and Yago for a long, long time here. And so I approached both of them in a way that we could work on Yago's management stuff together. And I think the reality was with Yago was, I think a couple things, you know, it was like he was not just the world champion. I mean, he was someone obviously that like possesses all these different I guess aspects of being a professional surfer that people love, you know.
Yes.
We know that he is a very loved person out of the water, and just the way he carries himself, and even though the industry is tough and challenged and dealing with all these issues, there's obviously always going to be interest in someone like that.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
And so I was very honest with the guys that were working there, honest with Bemmy. I said, look, like you have the opportunity if you want to continue with Yago, like, and here's what it kind of looks like, right? And then I said, but I work for him and I have to do my job.
Yeah.
My job is to go look at other opportunities.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I did.
I want to stop him there, but Brad is the best agent. I know you hate that word. Deal maker.
Athlete, consultant,
on
right?
Planet Earth. On planet Earth. So,
Yeah.
you know, having Brad as the guy, and Yago knew that as soon as you came on, and so did all the brands knew that as well. Oh, Brad's involved. Oh God, okay, got to dot my I's and cross my T's.
Yeah, so you know, right.
So,
Well, I thank you. Appreciate that. Bemmy.
oh yeah, don't worry.
I think it's, well, look, I mean, I have a lot of being in that position. I have a lot of information.
Yes, sure.
I have a lot of I have databases and contracts, and like I know all of it. I have all the budgets. I can know all this stuff. So like there's no bullshit involved. Like you can't talk to me, you know what I mean? Like, well, we don't have this budget. I'm like, I know what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Got that budget. Yeah, I was just working on that budget. Just worked on that one the other.
My initials are at the bottom. Signed off by Brad.
True. Yeah, hang on, my initials are there.
Yeah. So like that takes that part out of it.
Yeah.
Which puts me really in a good position for the athlete, but it should be. It squares up. Like it's fair. You know, it's like, okay, like we know. And look, at the end of the day, I think the Volcom was really trying to figure out a lot of different things and who's paying for what and different licensees and all that stuff. And they were, going through a change where I think it was just, I believe what it came down to, honestly, is there was there was just maybe not enough money allocated in surf for this level, because we built up a program that was expensive.
Yes.
And that's the truth, you know, and it's not about like a personal thing. It's not like, of course they wanted to continue with Yago. But the reality was, you know, where it ended up is that, you know, Visla came in and I worked, I went straight to Paul and Vinny first, obviously. And then he brought me in with them. And at first it was kind of like, it was funny. It was almost like, oh, we love Yago, but like, that's really expensive, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think we can afford it.
Yeah, sure.
But we kept talking and like kind of getting to, and it became something where they were very focused on making a big, I think making just a big commitment at this stage and where that brand is.
Yeah.
You know, to take it to the next level. And it wasn't going to be anyone. I mean, it was very specific. And Yago just checked, I think, all the boxes for him. Ruby's calling, sorry.
Oh, Ruby.
You can take it if you need to.
No, this is one of Brad's other riders. He just picked up.
Yeah.
Ruby Berry.
Yeah. No. Well, there you go.
I had a heat with her like last weekend.
What? You smash her?
Almost. I was a bit worried. Alto Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else sniffing? Was it like a fire sale when Yago's name came up, or was it kind of targeted?
I mean, I obviously did what I needed to do and talked to everyone, and you know, they're obviously, yeah. I mean, all the brands are. It's been hard, like with these crazy high levels of salaries. So that's all been adjusting. But there were multiple brands interested. It wasn't just them.
Well, I mean, as an athlete as well, coming off a world title is probably, you're at the apex of your, pardon the pun as well. Sorry, the references are brand, but you're
We'll send you an invoice for that.
you're at the peak of your earning potential at that moment. Like, there's no one hotter property on the market than him at that point. And you don't often see people leave, especially these big brands. Like, they're tied down for life a lot of the times, and coming off world titles is like, it's hectic. That change was so shocking to everyone. But I guess for yourself as well, was it just, like I say, it just came down to a matter of Volcom can offer this amount, we can get this amount off this site.
It did. Yeah. I mean, it did. And we were really honest, and there was a certain cap that they had. And I don't know what was really going on behind closed. I mean, Bemmy and I talked about it all the time, but I was very upfront of like, look, it's gonna, and he had told his bosses and everyone like, hey, this is where the numbers are gonna land. Like, this is what, and I don't know, you know, what their thoughts were on it, but
I think no, from the brands, everyone loved Yago, and the hardest thing from that side anyway was like, they run a huge snow and skate program as well.
Yes,
and it's hard from the surf side. We're going, we need more, we need more, and you got those guys, we need more. You know what I mean? I mean, Brad, you were always part of that, going out like massively, and I was like, we got the fucking world champion here, boy. We got number 2, the most winning CT surfer on the planet, Jack, and we got Noah Dean, the best free surfer in the world. Got Coco, the coolest chick ever. Got Moana pulling the pipe. We got a psycho surf program. Don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
But then I'm guessing like Marcus Cleveland.
Yeah, Marcus
on
Cleveland.
money as well, doing the same thing, but in a different sport.
Marcus Cleveland, the snowboarder. So we got a psycho skate program, a snow program. It's like, but that's why.
I think that's I understand, and I know that the people, you know, there's a reaction of like, wow, that's very surprising that happened. But me coming from the other side and what he's saying, I do understand it. Like we built a very strong surf program, but it's not cheap. And you're dealing with limited budgets, and like that's just it is. I mean, they're still spending a lot of money on team riders, like they are, but there's a point where you're funding, and for Volcom especially, like it has to be strong in these other sports. Like it's a point of difference, you know, with the other brands. So I don't think it was nothing that I don't know. I really don't care what what people like talk about it or why I'm sure there's all these different theories about it, but at the end of the day I think they were definitely bummed to lose Yago, but you just these things happen and change happens, and I think there was the Volcom surf program is still very strong. Like there's a lot of really great team riders on the program that they're supporting. It's just this made sense, and it's not just about money, you guys. Like Yago was feeling like he wanted to change too, and he's, to your point, yes, he has to make the most money in his career right now, like these next 3 years. So we had to look at that and look at how many years are there and to get a great contract. And like, I think I hear some stupid things out there, you guys, and like obviously I can't say what it is, but like some of the most ridiculous stuff of like what people think like what his deal might have been.
I heard
And
one
it's-
recently. I go,
And it's so
Triple that,
it's
mate.
so crazy.
Yeah,
Because
right.
it's like, well, obviously he's not gonna leave. Like the Volcom offer was good.
Yeah.
like it was. And it's like
for a lesser number.
and
Yeah,
Why
no.
would you say that?
do that. Like that would make zero sense. So I kind of laugh at it. I don't really care because we all know and what Isla signed up for and what they you know they committed. They made a big commitment for the brand, and maybe you know like they need to grow into that to support that level.
Yeah.
But I think we all believe that you know can happen. But that's kind of how it came down, and like there are no hard feelings. There's a couple guys that are my good friends that still work there, and it was all very open. Like this is what's gonna happen, and you know it changed, and these guys, yeah, it's been awesome working with them. You know, it is funny. I'll say like, you know, I was for so many years like only focused on Volcom, and then we like got Billabong and Ruka, and it was like, and I was head down and like learning all that, and it was so cool like to be able to like do that. But what I realized was like when you're, and it's kind of like where you're still at, I'm sure, like you're thinking about the brand that you work for, and that's who you're talking with every day, and like, and you know these people, other people in the industry, but you're not out there like having conversations with them all the time. And I think that's been such a cool thing for me. Like doing the role that I'm doing now, I'm talking to a lot of people that I've known for a while, and I can call Garth at O'Neill and, you know, and call these guys up or, you know, whatever, these other brands, and have conversations. And like, it's been cool to work with different people and kind of understand like their different strategies, you know?
Absolutely.
Don't you reckon, like with what we've seen in this event, like surfing is the most healthiest it's ever been in the actual sport of surfing.
Yeah.
You see the brands over there, I don't say the word struggling, but like not what it was in the early 2000s. Like everyone was so focused on it, but I've never seen that many people in the water ever.
Yeah.
So who's making all the money?
Yeah.
Largo podcast.
There you go.
It's us.
You know what I mean?
Not
But Brad being the manager, you've obviously seen now that you're talking to everyone. Like,
Yeah.
do you think there's a time that it will slowly come back? Because skating went through that, right? When so down.
I mean,
and then it
skateboarding
came
gone
back.
through that multiple
Multiple
times, you know.
But then I think about that, but then bodyboarding, it just deleted.
Yeah.
Gone. So like,
That's an easy one.
could it happen? I don't know. Like, what do you guys think?
Oh, come on. Noah Dean's bringing it back.
I don't not shout out to all the bodyboarders, but I think surfing is something that you do to your fucking 80.
Yeah,
Having
true.
a fucking 60-year-old. Let's get your lead and flip down the beach.
You got to come down to Lennox a bit more often.
Oh, really?
But there's a couple of you.
Fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you think it's like, it's hard to say, but what does 2030 look like? Is it good for the sport?
Yeah. I mean, I feel we do have these conversations a lot, and him and I talk about it a lot as if, you know, like from a brand perspective, from an athlete perspective. Obviously so much has changed, and like, yeah, the era we grew up in, it was very like, I don't know, it was just more black and white of like how things worked, and it was so simple.
Yeah.
Like it was easier. Like it was like literally you had magazines, you had big film projects, and you didn't have all these different like fast moving touch points with social and all these other things. And I feel like to me, I mean, Jesus, I have never seen so many people in my life down here, you know, like, it feels good. Like we're like, okay, something has got to like it seems like there's more surfers in the world like than ever.
Yeah.
Of all types of, you know, levels, and you know, it's the family sport. I mean, you just see this. It seems like at some point that's gonna have to like it'll click, and hopefully will help the brands that have really been supporting these sports, or whatever you want to call it, lifestyle. I think that it's just there's just been a disconnect between like the brand and the consumer through the athlete. I think that there's a disconnect there, and it just, there has to be more attention on it. I feel like obviously kids have choices of everything online. They have choices of their content that they consume. They might have, Yago might be their favorite surfer. does it mean they're going to go down to, you know, the local shop and like buy a board short that he's endorsing or a fin? I think that's been the challenge.
Yes.
I think and these guys and gals have been, I mean, they're developing their own personal brands, right? Like that's what they are. It's like their own profile. And you may love that person, but it doesn't, like back in our day, you were so loyal. Well, they, you know, that company's supporting them. We're going to buy those products. I think that's been part of the issue. I think in hard goods, it's a better connection, for sure. But I think when it comes to these big apparel brands, it's just, it's a little different, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I think,
So the short answer is it's going downhill.
2030.
2030 is here.
2030.
Sweet.
I mean, I think, more events like this, I think will, you know, gain the excitement around it.
Do you think non-endemics coming in more? Like,
As
the
I had a
bigger
question on
brands,
this as well.
like outside of surf.
which you can tie in.
Sorry, you go
no,
ahead.
no, non-endemics, because obviously we now have Medina, no nose sticker on his board.
You're right. Yeah.
If you're looking after his contracts, where are you going from here? Are you going outside the sport? Because he really is. He has ascended surfing in many respects. Like he's bigger than the sport, and especially in Brazil.
Yeah.
Where are you going from there?
Yeah, I think, I mean, look, he's a special case. I mean, it's such kind of almost an anomaly, like in a way. It's like you're right. I mean, he's bigger than surfing itself. And so, yeah, if I were working with him, I think that would be a natural progression.
Sure.
And maybe he's just outgrown some of those, you know, pure surf companies. I think it's important to have the balance, you know, like, I mean, these guys obviously have a lot of different categories, a lot of sponsors, and I think if there's a good balance, that's really important, you know, and grounding yourself, like with brands that maybe aren't about just the money, but like actually having like good partnerships and marketing. But I don't know. I'm not really a big fan, to be honest, of like non-endemic partnerships. And like, not that I wish that it was better, but I've just seen too much of them coming in and pulling out, where it's the longevity that's the problem. Sure. I think it would be great if they came in and said, we're into surfing, you know, and like commit. But if you look back in history and how many brands have done this, come in, ruffled feathers, done all these things, throw a bunch of money around, and they're gone in 3 years. So I'm not a fan of that. I think surfing needs to remain pure to some degree, like with those companies, only because we just haven't seen someone really, you know. And look at even these other categories, like you know, some of the categories that have been sponsoring even some of the WSL events, you know, sun care. I mean, they're just gone.
Yeah.
Like they came in and like, I asked them, I'm like, hey, are you still working with Shiseido, Neutrogena? No, they're gone.
Yeah,
They're
right.
out, you know? And so it's like, this happens. And so I think it's, you know, I think there's room for it, but you just have to be super careful.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't bank your you know, your career. And especially like if you go and do something like a big deal like that, it's very hard to come back.
Yeah, well, we've seen it. Like, I remember Under Armour came in at one stage. They were quite a big presence. They took on a few team rides, and like even back when like Nike 6.0 came in, and they just came in, just ruled the roost for a bit and then disappeared. Sort of seen it slowly creeping back in, not through 6.0 anymore. Obviously, Nike's signed a few people recently, Idolo being their probably major guy. I guess, it does. Maybe not so much for Nike because it's such a well-established brand, but it probably does taint you a little bit afterwards, right? Trying to look for your next deal if you've gone outside the fishbowl too much.
Yeah, I think so. I think image is important. Yeah, I think the way how you align yourself, and I think if you do a deal with a brand like that and then it doesn't last, like, you know, I don't know, you're on the marketing side, like you would look at someone and go, well, that person doesn't really fit to ride for our brand anymore because their image completely changed.
Correct.
You know?
But then also I'm thinking on the flip side of what Brad's saying, what if it's someone like Medina, who is that big, he's got, how many followers? 20 million followers? I don't know. But if he was that big that he brought, where Coca-Cola and Qantas and those people used to be into surfing and Tommy Carroll used to ride for all that stuff, what if he brought that back into the surf world? I mean, what if they went, I want a part of that. I want a part of this. I want to be a part of that. And then all of a sudden someone that big, which Kelly was a part of that, right? He used to bring big things into this surfboard.
Yeah.
Maybe the thing is like Medina could bring someone big in that surfing needs. That give it to the broader bridge. Go, well, that's a pretty cool thing.
I think that would be amazing if they could do it and see the value to stay in it.
Stay in it, true.
You know?
Yeah.
I think
That's
that's
a longevity game, isn't it?
Yeah, we would love that. I think everyone would.
Yeah.
I mean, the events like that have these big partnerships in the past, and I don't know. I think WSL has done a good job of having a couple of these partners, some of them that have stayed on, and you're always kind of going, well, are they going to be there next year or not? You don't know, and there's been a few that have. So,
And I reckon if every event was like Snapper, we'd see so much more.
Yeah,
If every event was like that, that is like the Super Bowl. Everyone's there going, oh my God, just freaking out. And every sponsor go, I want a part of that. But then unfortunately, they go to an event like WA, for instance, they go see it inconsistent, not many guys catching a wave. There's on, off. What is this? That's what they'd be thinking. People that don't know the sport will go, we understand it takes swell. You've got to have the right wind. You've got to have the right timing, the right tides. These people were the billionaires and thinking, going, what is that? But on a day like we saw the last 4 days, they're going, I want a part of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not how our sport works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the hardest thing to understand if you're not a surfer. It's impossible to program it for television. You can't do that. So you're already like, you have these things against you for like growing like that audience, like that doesn't, like a bigger audience. Because you think, right, if you want a bigger audience that's kind of a more appealing, like the goal would be to have some of these brands appeal more to someone that's maybe not the most core surfer. I think it's just you're up against all those different challenges, and it is the hardest thing in the world to understand pros. Like, how are they judged? Like, what is this? Like, how do you get what do you mean? Like, if you don't, like, we take it for granted because we're in it, but like you start talking to someone and it's like mind blowing for them,
You go to an event and you see someone do a kick out fly in the air, everyone goes, Michael 10 points. He just flew off the back of the wave. Yes. And then the whole crowd screaming, going, none of these people know how to surf. Know what I mean?
Well, the Medina photo at the Olympics.
God. He's walking on it. Oh my God, I can see how
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's just proof right there. You go to pipe and you sit there and someone kicks out the back and everyone starts clapping. Oh my God. And so like, I don't know. When I think about that, I feel like we know how challenging it is for the sport of surfing to translate. So I think what needs to happen is these personalities of the athletes need to be developed in a way that's completely different. And it's just not happening. I don't see it happening. I think that everyone needs to take responsibility for it. I think, and I know that WSO's, they've tried different things, but if you think about like, different sports that people, whatever, the drive to survive, like as the obvious example of something where like no one gave a shit about racing, or Formula One, like whatever, but like, being able to like actually dive in and like tell real stories and create these personalities and the people that are, then maybe you wouldn't have to understand the technicalities of, oh, well, he did this and did an air and and got a 7. It's just way more interest based on building up the profiles. So I think that is probably one of the biggest challenges right now. Because everyone kind of like no one's taking responsibility for that. Like it's like, oh, well, the brand, can only do so much, and then the league can only do so much, and the athlete, they're just kind of doing their own thing, So I don't know. I feel like if there was a way to really like, and don't get me wrong, I mean, they've tried different reality shows and like other behind the scenes stuff, and there's been some things that have been good, but I don't know. I feel like that's what's kind of missing to make some of these personalities
So big.
larger than life and have some of that, like whatever, not necessarily reality drama shit, but like things that are interesting that are going to interest people.
Like a parasocial relationship. They feel connected without even knowing them.
Without even knowing them. And then by like, you'll naturally gravitate to that person, and then you'll get more interested in what they're actually doing.
For sure.
With the surfing,
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're really conscious of time as well. We know you guys got dinner at 6:30. Maybe just one quick fire. Like, we had some listening questions. We're gonna bar those. I've just got one, and we're pretty fortunate. Our audience is comprised, obviously, we're pretty core surfing audience. Like, everyone that listens to us is ingrained in the sport in some fashion, but we're also lucky. A lot of our listeners, like competitors on the QS, like we have some guys that tune in pretty frequently and they're in the sport. As like in your field of work? Like, what's the most important thing they could be doing right now to be attracting the attention of brands?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'll let Mr. Brand.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Brand, I mean, for me, as like what I would do, the results in that don't mean fucking shit.
Right.
You're looking for someone who's just got that X factor, who's a little bit raw, who's doing their own thing, not, just who stands apart in the crowd, who could walk into a room, everyone goes like that, turns around and goes, oh, get fucked, they're here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's that guy. They kind of suck the air out of the room. They're the ones you go, oh, they were like, they can go out there and do the craziest thing in the world too, but they're also super cool to talk to. They're generous. They're good human beings. That everyone feels better after hanging with them. They go away going, that to me is like the ultimate. And we've got guys like that. And I was lucky that Volcom was a huge part of like sponsoring people because of the individuality, right, Brad? Mm-hmm. That's a huge part of that. And like that to me is like, because everyone fucking rips if you think about it.
Yeah.
Go in the water and go, oh, that guy's unbelievable. They all rip. Everyone rips. But to me, it's like, it's the other things that really matter. Like, obviously the social media, the aspect, the surfing, the clips put on, perfect. But who you are as an individual and what you bring is a massive part of it too.
Yeah.
That was fucking epic.
Mate, let's leave it there, eh? That was bang on. I like
Okay,
that.
I just want to bring something up.
Bring it up.
Brad's scariest moment, and what I reckon, I never asked you about this as an employee. Remember Fiji when it was the CT and the day got too big and it was 20 foot, 25 foot, 30
big
foot.
Delbo out of Mellingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that day, and all the big guys came in and it was fucking a freak out. And then for Volcom to go live on the free surf, every lawyer, everyone said, do not do it, don't do it, because someone dies in, the whole brand goes down. It was Brad's call to say,
No way. That's incredible.
Yeah, Thundercloud.
Yeah, Undercloud. Remember that?
That was the best shit ever.
Just look down the barrel and just go, it's on.
Yeah. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I haven't asked you about that. How scary that decision was.
Thank you. I mean, I thought I would probably be fired or sued or something. I don't know. But like, man, it was just one of those split second things. And it ended up being my call. And there was something that, it was one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. But what's so wild, if you look back, everything was pretty structured at that time, and it was like Volcom had made this choice to like do a CT event, which blew a lot of people away.
Yeah.
But the first, it was like, whoa, okay, they're doing a CT event. The reason that, we decided to do that a big part of it was that I had these meetings with then ASP. And what I realized out of that was that the only way that we would do it, the only way I would agree to doing the contest at all is if we had really a lot of control over the event, every piece of it. And that's why we did the Volcom Pipe Pro for so many years. And so we set it up that way. So we had the media rights. We controlled the webcast, all of it.
Yeah.
We had all of the sponsor rights. Like we controlled all of it. So at the end of the day, when that happened, it was no longer an ASP, whatever decision. It was like, hey, contest is off. Like we're fucking out. And then the boys came to me. They're like, we could fucking keep rolling. Like we have the webcast. You've already paid us. And we did it. Yeah, we just said, all right, we got to fucking do this.
Because Wall was on the ski. He said he pulled up a couple of people that were fucking dead. It was the only person on the ski that was saving people, and he pulled up. That was gone. They were not dead, but like if he wasn't there, pull him up, unconscious on the back, and get him out of like harm's way. If he wasn't there, there were a couple of people weren't. I mean,
yeah, it worked out. It worked out fine.
Yeah. So, but you would have been gone there.
I would have been
there. So,
fired.
yeah.
And someone would have gotten sued. But
that was
how long?
Beyond him, I was commentating for hours, and then
How long did we run? 3 hours?
no, it was long because it finished at 2 hours. Bede and Riona Montero broke his leg. Coming out of the battle.
Yeah.
And then it was about from midday onwards till about 4. You do it.
We
4
ran about
hours.
3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
A live free surf.
Yeah.
With all of our webcast equipment for the contest.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a
Fucking
contest.
unreal.
I remember watching it. Unbelievable. And like that event as well itself, pumped. Like even outside of that, I remember
Man, that was
On
such
the
a
Kelly one, he's standing in the barrel. Remember that one he put in and closed out and like
off its head.
they were like. I think Volcom has been very blessed with all the Volcom Pipe Pros and those events.
Yeah.
Every time pumps.
Yeah.
Pumps every time.
Gets better ways than the CT at the whenever it was, the Volcom Pipe Pro, like it's always better than the CT event, the forecast. So it's crazy.
Now, bro.
I don't know.
Balance got a little doll downstairs in that dungeon. Hey,
That's
look,
it.
little
Those
doll,
little-
yeah, doing
those little
blessings and
bones
shit.
everywhere. To kill the chicken, kill it quick.
Yeah. Well, we had the timing, you guys know. You know, it was like for a long time, unfortunately, the Pipe Masters in December was not good.
Yep.
Like all the, it was like the pure west swells, and all the
it's
better
real north
was
end,
always later. And we were in that window, and it got to a point where they finally went and they fucking kicked us out of that window. Remember? Like, we're going to, the CT's taking that window. Think of it. But that's what happened. But a bunch of other stuff happened, but that was a big part of it. So, but yeah, thanks, man. That was funny. I'll give you one last thing on your question, because I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And if you have your, people that are trying to understand what would make them, more valuable. And there's, obviously the QS, there's all the, all the competitive stuff. And I totally agree with what Bemmy's at, where we had spent so much time looking at, like, what are these, like, what do you bring, like, also outside of the water, like your identity, and Noah is the best example of the Volcom guy, right? Like, and I would just urge anyone to, like, without distracting completely what their career is, like, be involved in other things, experience other things in your life where it will make you interesting, because to his point, everyone's a great surfer, but what you do on land and what other things, and whether it's art or music or community, give back to, I don't know, riding, I worked with Finn McGill, and he builds old cars and rides dirt bikes, and goes out to ranches and shoots guns, and, like, does all these different things. And, like, and I'm seeing interest in sponsorships, like, because of that. Like, we like this guy, like, because of that. I mean, the guy was at Coachella and in the middle of the desert, and his sponsors all wanted him to go there, just for example. Like, so I think, again, without, like, distracting what your main goals are, and not forcing something, but generally speaking, like, I do think sometimes people take a competitive road, very narrow, kind of tunnel, of, like, I'm only doing this and focused on that. And from a pure marketing perspective, I think brands are definitely looking for, people that have a little variety and have and create some interest. So I would advise that if it's something that's real to them.
Amazing. Yeah.
I support that. And you probably support that as well. Like, when I was at Philalong, that's what I was looking for. There's too many kids that rip.
Yeah.
So to say that you rip, it's like, valid point, but, like, what else is cool about you?
Yeah.
100% correct.
Yeah.
So go out there and start drawing and get on the clothes, boys.
Learn how to play guitar.
Go out there and put a fucking pizza box in the oven and evacuate a 300-story building, and that'll get you a sponsorship. Gentlemen, thanks so much for coming on. Enjoy dinner.
Nah, stoked.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for
Very
having
fun.
us.
It's my eyeballs are burning. You snow. Cheers, eh?